Morning guys, and one of my favourites was the Osmonds, Donny Osmond. And I know that Elvis Presley was friends with the whole family and they performed in Las Vegas as well and got to know each other. So I put some clips together of Donny Osmond talking about Elvis and things that had happened. I thought you'd enjoy them. Let's have a listen together.
We had this conversation about the fact that we had the same clothes designer, Bill Ballou, and we both had the high collars and the beads and the white jumpsuits. And he really enjoyed talking to my mom about life, about philosophy. And he told her he wanted to be a preacher. That was his aspiration in life, to be a preacher. And he just happened to become the king of rock and roll rather than a preacher.
And this is so interesting to me. We know that Elvis was very religious, but also very spiritual. And the fact that he told his mother that he wanted to be a preacher resonates with me because I've watched many interviews and I understand that Elvis really did actually have a part of him that wanted to be a preacher.
One day he called the house to talk to my mom. And my brother Jay, the one just next door to me, picks up the phone. He says, "Hello." And he hears, "Is your mother there?" I said, "Yeah, who's calling?" He says, "This is Elvis." He didn't put two and two together. He said, "Hey, Mom, some guy named Elvis is on the phone for you." It's Elvis Presley. But I remember I was 14 years old when I first met him, and his show was just unbelievable. This is why he was called the king of rock and roll. And so 10 minutes before the show starts, the door opens up. Elvis Presley walks in, and he says, "Hi, everybody, I'm Elvis Presley." And I remember, I'm 14. I remember thinking to myself, yeah, we know that.
You don't need to introduce
You
yourself.
don't need it. But he was so humble. And he was just the nicest guy. He would give us all these flowers, all these roses in the shape of a guitar every time we opened up. It's the nicest guy.
And I keep hearing this again and again and over from many, many people that are interviewed about meeting Elvis Presley and them saying just how nice he was and how humble he was. And he was so charming and friendly with it that people didn't feel like they were in the presence of a man who his superstardom had gone to his head. No, they felt they were with someone that was just decent and kind and caring. So here's Donny Osmond, who watched Elvis whilst he was performing, walk into the audience and saw the reaction from the people, from the crowds watching him, and had an idea.
Because people were tearing at his clothes and ripping him like crazy. I thought, that is so cool. And when we opened up, I thought, I'm going to do the same thing. And I went out into the audience for a song. Went clear out to the booths. I mean, it's quite a ways out there. And the girls are tearing at my clothes and ripping out. This is so cool. But after the show, I remember my dad and my brothers coming up to me and said, "Don't ever do that again." And I remember turning to him and said, "Well, Elvis did it." And they said, "Okay, try it again." So I kept it in the show because Elvis did it.
Because Elvis did it. I love that. The fact that they dressed similar, they used the same clothes designers. And yes, the Osmonds at their peak were massive world phenomenons. So they had quite a lot in common for a little while. And I just love the way Donny Osmond just speaks so fondly of Elvis, about this crazy reaction that he also got from the audience when he tried to do what Elvis did. And not many could have pulled it off, but Donny Osmond definitely had it to do it.
He invited us to come over to his house for a, quote, barbecue. He was going to barbecue some steaks for us. And it never happened. We never got over there. And the next thing I knew, he passed away in '77. And so we never got those steaks from Elvis.
A bittersweet ending to this video with Donny Osmond's final words. We never got to eat steak with Elvis. And I'm so pleased that Elvis had this special friendship with the Osmond family, and how Donny Osmond talks about it from the heart. And you can really tell that Donny Osmond really did care for Elvis and had a massive high regard and high respect for Elvis as a human being and a religious man that really did care and was completely different to his superstar image. And I think us Elvis fans, we all know that Elvis had a heart of gold. Thanks, guys.